Hey, what's up? This is Mantis here, showing off his principal jamming myachis, stacking a little kind of pyramid. Okay, so let's go through. Start with the bottom row. Got my MTI show space. I think this was made by like Psycho's dad or something, and I probably got it in a trade from him too. But I got it mint and I broke it in, and it's kind of hard to see on camera. But if you look at the fabric up close, it's incredible. It's very broken in, and I actually really like this. It has great grip. The logo is actually one of the few good logos. Next, this gridiron blue. I got this one in trade from Toro. He did pretty much all the breaking in, but it's pretty yummy, and as you could probably see, it's kind of wide board. Next, the static cling. I broke it in myself. I actually wouldn't say the static cling has much of a peak of jammability, but it's a very solid miyachi. And next, this awesome hardcore camo. I broke this one in all by myself. I've seen very few hardcore camos this broken in. It's actually kind of hard to see on camera. But the fabric, when you break this fabric in, very few miyachis match it. It's very difficult to break in. It's kind of a denim, and very few denims break in at all. Member solution. This one I haven't actually had much of a chance to jam with, but even though I barely jam with it at all, it's already very yummy. This Six Flags. I actually got the Six Flags from Monk and broke it in even more. It's a very good microsuede. Next, this Red Aztec. Okay, I love this Red Aztec. The, what series was this? I think the horizontal Red Aztec was 4.0. I much prefer them to the vertical Red Aztecs, which are okay, but not that good. Horizontal corduroys are, I think, better than vertical corduroys. It's very broken in. Okay, next is FAO. I don't even remember where I got this FAO, if I broke it in myself, if someone else broke it in and I traded for it. No idea. But it's very broken in. It's if you zoom in, you can even see how the fabric is broken in. Okay, next is Calvin. It's lost near most of its color. It's very good grip, like Calvins are when you break them in. Okay, next, you might not even be able to tell what this is. It's a Blackbeard. If I zoom in, you could actually kind of see one of the few skull and crossbones left. I've actually stopped jamming with this one to preserve its the last remaining skull and crossbones. Very few left. Okay, next, Highlander Black. I love the Highlanders. I prefer this Highlander fabric to later Highlander fabrics like the orange and the red and what other Highlanders were there? There's probably green or something. Okay. Okay, next is Fire Island, wide-boarded. It's a bit too light for me, which is why I don't have it up there with different Pakistans I'll show you later. Next is Gangrene. It's actually quite dirty, but very broken in, great fabric, yeah. Okay, next is Suffolk Downs. I've literally had the Suffolk Downs for probably a week or so. It's already one of my best jammers. It's at this point, it's pretty heavy, but it's wide-boarded, and there's not much else I can say. Okay, this Diggity was one of my first rare miyachis, and one of my first miyachis overall. Quite broken in, almost too broken in. Okay, next I got this Pigskin here. A lot of people don't like the Pigskin because they suck at first. Once you break them in, there's like no other miyachi that matches it in terms of grip. Next, I got my number 2 Calvin. You saw my number 3 Calvin already. This one here, it's lost pretty much all of the color. It's just as yummy as it gets. Next is TJP. I haven't even had this one that long, but it's one of the best miyachis ever, in my opinion. Probably one of the best 5 miyachis ever. Okay, next, I got this Chorister. Also one of the best 5 miyachis ever. And when I'm saying this, I'm not saying like 5 individual miyachis, 5 types of miyachis. That'd be kind of bragging. But the Chorister wide boards, it breaks in like few other Pakistans do. Okay, next, my number 1 Calvin. I've had this Calvin, I don't know this long, at least 2 years. And I've retired it now like my number 2 Calvin, which is why I'm breaking my number 3 Calvin, which is down there. Because they're both starting to rip in the corner and I want to preserve them. Oh, that one. Okay. As you can see, this one's kind of wide-boarded, which is rare for a Calvin, and it's just very sick. Next, this black belt, also retired, because as you can see, it's taped up because it has holes in it. But this black belt, I mean, when I used to use it, it would very often land on my hand like that, or just standing up, land on my foot, standing up, land on my arm, standing up. This Miyachi, it actually does the tricks. I don't have to put any effort. It just lands on my arm or my foot without me putting any effort into it. And these are my jammers.